3 things to know: LeBron James and Dwyane Wade's friendship changed the NBA. Monday night at Staples Center was the final time LeBron James and Dwyane Wade will share the court together. It was a bittersweet moment appreciated by the Lakers fans, people new to LeBron fandom, who gave Wade a standing ovation when he entered the game. Then those fans got to watch the old friends duel on the court like old times. The pair came into this game 15-15 in head-to-head meetings, but LeBron now finishes with those bragging rights. Then, after Wade missed a desperation shot to tie the game late, the two men embraced and exchanged jerseys. It was a fitting and emotional end to 2 Hall of Fame careers, ones that forever altered the league. LeBron and Wade, along with Chris Bosh, fundamentally changed the NBA. They were the players that decided we're getting together and forming a super team. Those players took charge of their destiny. They were not leaving it up to the white guys in suits to decide what they should do, although Pat Riley deserves credit for creating the space to give all 3 a landing spot. Then they went out and won rings, plural. Other superstars took note, and it's not just to the Warriors, it's the shape of the NBA that is changing because these players own their power. Wade and LeBron formed a legendary Heat team that went to 4 straight finals, winning 2, and providing us with some of the greatest moments and memories in finals history. In a few years, they will be sitting on the back deck of Wade's house in Miami, sharing a bottle of wine that you and I can't afford, and reminiscing about those days and what they did. They're in that moment. And players who come after them should thank them for showing just how much leverage the players really have. A couple of weeks ago, one of the hot discussion topics around the NBA was what is wrong with the Boston Celtics? They were 10-10 and struggling to score enough buckets to win. Nobody is asking anymore. The Celtics have won 6 in a row, outscoring teams by a ridiculous 25.6 points per 100 possessions in that stretch. Monday night, short-handed without, and they knocked off Anthony Davis and the Pelicans, 113-100. It was the kind of team when we have come to expect from the Celtics, with elite defense and someone stepping up on offense. This time it was with 31 points. That said, Anthony Davis had Celtics fans dreaming of what could be, scoring 41 and looking like the MVP candidate he is, and the Davis to Boston rumors will not die, even though Davis is not and will not be available for trade during this season. And Boston can't trade for him during the season without sacrificing Irving due to CBA rules anyway. While Davis was the best player on the court, the play everyone is talking out of this is Boston rookie Robert Williams blocking Davis. The Celtics are racking up these wins through a soft part of their schedule, and that continues for a while. Wizards, Hawks, the suddenly struggling Pistons, and the Suns make up their next 4. Monday night, Kevin Durant, and all took the court together for the first time since November 5. The Warriors are back. Predictably, that was bad news for the visiting Timberwolves, who fell 116-108. Curry was doing Curry things again and had 38 points. The Warriors have won 4 in a row. More telling, however, is how we have talked about Green's and Curry's injuries, tried to psychoanalyze the relationship between Green and Durant, and talked about their problems, and yet here they are, 19-9 and just percentage points out of first in the West, and just starting to come together. Their problems have been overblown, and the league is now about to watch them get their legs under them again and go on a run. Never doubt this is the best team in the NBA, and if your team is dreaming of the Larry O'Brien Trophy, you're going to have to pry it out of the Warriors' hands. Phoenix is filling up the box score as a rookie, but his defense has a long way to go. That said, he had what many thought was the impossible block shot on Monday night, shutting down 7'3" Boban Marjanovic. Now we've seen everything. The current social media marketing landscape is sort of a gross place to be. People will do anything for clicks, views, and the idea of all PR being good PR is taken to the extreme by many parties. We live in a world where Kanye West, who made a couple of good albums a decade ago, in advance of any new marketing campaign as a way to keep his name in the news, and in search engines, prior to the release of a shoe or a new song. It's not very subtle. Golden State Warriors guard appears to have done much the same this week. Curry proposed that he, prompting widespread discussion of the kind of negative impact those comments can have. Both ESPN's PTIN issued commentary on it that was out of the ordinary, and fans denounced Curry for setting a bad example and being. And now, just a couple of days later, Curry has a new shoe for you to buy from Under Armour. Imagine that. Tuesday night Curry was at an event showing off the new shoes, and he even did a Q&A on Twitter. Perfect timing, don't you think? Steph, let me tell you buddy. This is not the way to sell a shoe. Well, it is way to sell a shoe in 2018, but as the 2-time NBA MVP and a 3-time NBA champion, It's definitely not the right look for a guy of your stature. This is gross, and inappropriate, and honestly damages the legacy of how people will write about you and view you in the future. Say it was a bad joke and move on. It's not worth it to look like you'd sell your soul just to huck some rip-off Kobe 10 All-Stars anyway. The UA Curry 6 drops soon, but I'm not telling you where. We finally have a diagnosis for Philadelphia 76ers point guard. According to doctors, Fultz suffers from thoracic outlet syndrome, which has hampered his ability to shoot a basketball and be functional on an NBA floor. There have been rumors that the Sixers want to move on from Fultz. Those rumors have been shot down, but a public denial is not a guarantee against a private admission. Meanwhile, the NBA sphere has started to churn about where Fultz could fit in and start over. An obvious landing spot would be the Phoenix Suns, who have needed a point guard for some time and come with less pressure than Philadelphia. But according to at least one report from Arizona, the Suns aren't interested in Fultz. Phoenix radio host John Gambadoro said as much on Twitter on Tuesday. Via Twitter, there have been a lot of people asking about a trade for Markelle Fultz. I will reiterate that I do not see it. From what I am hearing, the Suns have no interest in Fultz, no desire to take on him and any issues he has. John Gambadoro, at Gambo987, this doesn't say much. Any information sourced to reporters at this juncture could just as easily be Phoenix driving down the cost of a Fultz trade as it is true information about them not having interest. Still, the idea of Fultz in Phoenix does make some sense on paper, and if the Suns aren't interested, it adds another layer to the story about where the young point guard might eventually end up. The future doesn't seem bright for Fultz and the Sixers, but for now we'll just have to wait. Will stay with the Golden State Warriors after this summer? That's the question on the mind of everyone in the NBA and particularly the basketball fans in the Bay Area. Durant is rumored to desire a change of scenery, especially if he wins another championship at the end of this year with the Warriors. If Durant does leave Oakland, what will his legacy be with Warriors fans? It's hard to determine that right now, just as it would be difficult to know how the organization would deal with honoring Durant after he retires. No matter what, Durant thinks the best players on this current roster will have their jerseys retired and have statues put up out front of the new arena in San Francisco. I know for a fact that we'll all get our jerseys retired, said Durant. We'll probably all get statues in front of the Chase Center. We'll be Bay Area legends forever. Via Twitter, there's no indication from Durant's comments that he is going to decide to stay with the Warriors, so take them with a grain of salt. I think that Durant is one of the most enigmatic stars to have graced league in the last 30 years, so any assumptions about what he wants is pure speculation. But, if he leaves, do you really think Golden State would give him a statue? Utah Jazz big man has been no stranger to NBA officials this season. The Frenchman has already been on what he believes is poor officiating, and he doesn't appear to be letting up anytime soon. After the Jazz lost a heartbreaker to the Oklahoma City Thunder on Monday, 122-113, Gobert again decided to make it known how he felt about the folks in gray. Specifically, Rudy Gobert said that if officials weren't going to start protecting him against other players fouling him with disregard, he would have to take it into his own hands. Via the, "Tonight, someone grabbed my arm, pulled me down, that was a very dangerous play, and I got called for the foul. So if I gotta do justice myself, I'm gonna do justice myself. And it's gonna get ugly," Gobert said. "Hopefully I don't have to do that. I just wanted to play basketball." That's about as close as we'll ever get to fighting words in the NBA, and Gobert was probably pretty heated after the loss when he said those things. Still, officiating has been a question around the league this season, and it's possible that Gobert has some legitimate complaints. Hopefully the coaching staff and front office in Utah is doing what they can to lobby the league so that Gobert doesn't take it out on his fellow players. He's all ready, and the Jazz can't afford Gobert boiling over.